All right. I'm Mark from Pathways. I am clinical director for Baptist Children's Home and Family Services. I started in 2006. Beth and I just decided this morning. I'm going to talk a little bit about numbers first, and I know when we talk about numbers, if you're like me, you just glaze over and go somewhere else. But I would like for you to hear these numbers and attach to that what they mean. Each one of the numbers I'm going to give you is an actual person or a couple or a child or a family. So when you hear these numbers, think about it that way. Currently, we have 12 counselors in 13 locations. In 2020, even with the pandemic, we had 4,812 counseling sessions. Think about that. That's 4,812 individual hours of a client sitting with somebody in that environment of counseling. And during that time, we had 579 clients that we served, plus 222 extra clients. For instance, if a child's parent was with them and we helped them with parenting issues, to total 801 people. And the average number of counseling sessions per person was 8. And sometimes people will come in for one counseling session, and that works. Others, many more than that, so the average is 8, but I don't think that really reflects how many times a lot of people are seen. One really exciting thing that we've done, I know during the pandemic you may have had an office visit with your physician via telehealth. We had 980 counseling sessions with telehealth, something we'd never done before and something I was really a little bit uncertain about myself. I thought it would be different without being really in the same room with somebody. And I can tell you what, it wasn't different at all. And in some ways it was actually better because people are so much more comfortable in their own homes. And when you think about it, you're actually ministering to somebody on their couch. It's really been great, and I think it's probably our biggest potential growth area we have. When you think about it, somebody in Carmi could serve someone in Chicago, which we couldn't do otherwise. We have one new counseling office in Maryville, First Baptist Church. I'm excited about that. That's my church. And I think it has tremendous potential for growth. The one counselor who's going there is already completely booked. People ask me, what is Pathways like, or what's the best part of your job, or why do you love working there? Here's the best answer I can come up with. It's, like I said, each one of these numbers is attached to a person. It's a couple, a child, or a family. Each of these numbers represent a story. Everybody in this room has a story, whether you think it's valuable or not. It is valuable. Our stories are personal, and our stories all contain redemption, God's redemption. And that's what we do as counselors. We help folks really see that they're part of this redemption story, a story that can be charted from where you are when you start to where you are when you finish. People call, it's awkward, it's difficult to make that first phone call, but that's when our counseling really starts. And the difference from where they start and where they end, of course, we're not looking for absolute perfection. We can't have that in this world. But if we're motivated to know that we have a place to go to, that we have insight, that's what we do. And then the story continues. After all, this is God's story that we're a part of. It's not just ours. He has adopted us into his family, and he's invited us to come along with him on his adventure. I'm reminded that the word adventure contains two words, adversity and venture. So many times I think Saturday will be an adventure, I'll go out with the family. But that's a misuse of that word. We have adversity, which is struggle, and venture, which is a journey. And I think that's a lot like life itself. The life we have is a venture of struggle. So many times people will come in and they will say, all I ever wanted out of life was to just be happy. Is that asking too much? My response to that is no, it's asking too little. Wise people come out of struggle and hardship and grieving. Wise people know that you can grieve and celebrate at the same time. You know why? Because you have to. And as counselors, we are honored to be a tiny part of our client's story. Just this much. We get to see God's redemption in our clients. Can you imagine? And you know, we get more than just a front row seat. We get to be present while the Holy Spirit works and moves and pushes and prods and leads. And if we do our jobs well, our clients won't remember us. It's a little bit like that old saying, if you, excuse me, if you raise your children well, you raise them to leave you. You know how broken that makes you feel. At the same time, that's great because you've given them tools, you've given them the gifts, and you've also been able to step back far enough so that they can lead themselves. Our clients will only have God's redemption story to remember and build that on that foundation, a new life based on gratitude for His grace. To me, that's exciting, and that's the best part of being a Pathways counselor, the best part of being the director. And I want to thank all of you for partnering with us and helping us do that. I also thank you for the spirit in which you do it. I want to thank you, too, for being part of our story, being part of my story, and being part of our clients' stories. It's, as always, a real pleasure to serve with you, and I'm excited to be here. And thank you for today. Thanks.